3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff. 32 minutes past the hour. Liftoff on Apollo 11.
All right, welcome to Roots of Reality. I'm your host, Ben Baumann, and today I'm going to be talking about 1970s nostalgia. So for those who were young in the 70s, it likely feels like it was only yesterday that you were in high school or college, enjoying 1970s pop culture, wondering what the future will hold. Now, today it is 2023. Many years have passed, but the influence of the 1970s remains. As a result, these are the things that you may remember from that iconic decade. It was a decade where disco and roller skating became a big thing, with films like Saturday Night Fever starring John Travolta. The Bee Gees were still cranking out hits, and other dancing music groups would also emerge as fan favorites like the Electric Light Orchestra, Earth, Wind and Fire, ABBA, The Village People, KC and the Sunshine Band, and for those who lived in Europe, you may recall Boney M. Additionally, other major music groups and musicians also came about, like America, Kansas, Kiss, the Doobie Brothers, Blue Oyster Cult, Elton John, REO Speedwagon, Stevie Wonder, Marvin Gaye, Rush, Genesis with Phil Collins, the Jackson 5, Black Sabbath, AC/DC, Aerosmith, Van Halen, Pink Floyd, The Eagles, Kraftwerk, and David Bowie. Beyond music, though, video games would also emerge finally with the creation of the Atari and the famous video game Pong. Also, new TV shows and movies took over the pop culture world with shows like Happy Days, The Brady Bunch, Doctor Who, Saturday Night Live, SCTV, and super famous movies like Jaws, Star Wars, The Godfather, Grease, Animal House, Rocky, The Exorcist, and Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Thus, it was a remarkable era in Hollywood, led by the famous actors Jack Nicholson, Sylvester Stallone, Robert De Niro, and Al Pacino. And all these films and TV shows and actors would continue to have a prominent place in pop culture for decades to come, whether being referenced or just constantly being shown on TV again and again and again. You know, it's hard to find, for example, an American that hasn't seen the film Rocky or Star Wars. In fact, it's hard to find someone around the world who hasn't seen Star Wars at this point. Finally, as for the sports world, boxing was led by Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier. Soccer was dominated by the Dutch phenom Johan Cruyff. In baseball, the Oakland Athletics were dominant, led by Reggie Jackson and Raleigh Fingers. The football teams of the day were the Steelers, led by Terry Bradshaw, and the Cowboys, led by Roger Staubach. But most importantly were the 1972 undefeated Miami Dolphins. Next, in basketball, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was a force of nature. And lastly, in hockey, the Philadelphia Flyers, led by Bernie Parent and Bobby Clark, were king. Thus, overall, the 1970s were an unforgettable decade, which contributed tons to the culture of the world. So much so that the 1970s are still incredibly impactful to this very day. Therefore, the 1970s may be of the past, but its influence will always remain. So with that, if you grew up in the 70s, or went to high school or college, right now you're probably in your 60s or 70s yourself. The world seems to have gone by very quickly. Right now in this moment, there's still lots to be done and lots more memories to make. So shout out to all those who remember the 70s, and always remember, billions of years led to you. So make the most of it.